Superdome, seen at day one in the men's gymnastics competition. Today, the qualification round, when the 12 teams entered will be trimmed in half to the half dozen that will battle for the team medals on Monday. Two contenders, the United States team and Russia, the defending Olympic champion.
The United States of America men's Olympic gymnastics team. Blaine Wilson.
Here's the stud of the American team who continues to display an absolute state of readiness for the Olympic Games. Roethlisberger, a man who dreams of going to the Olympics for a third time.
Most people would have given up, would have packed in a third Olympic try.
John Roethlisberger.
That's it right there. Make it three.
Paul Hahn. Morgan Hahn.
The twins are going together.
Sean Townsend. Stephen McCain.
And there is John Roethlisberger, 30 years old in his third Olympics. He'll be sitting out the floor exercise. 5 competitors from each team on each apparatus for the scores count. And from the oldest to the youngest, what must be going through the mind of Morgan Hahn? He'll be 18 years old in 8 days, a high school senior at the Olympics.
Tom, if you had said a year ago that Morgan and Paul Hahn would be on this Olympic team, there'd probably be only 3 people on the planet that would have thought it was possible. Paul Morgan and their coach, Stacy Maloney. A lot that has to get done in this competition. Some very powerful teams, as you mentioned. 12 in the competition, only 6 make it.
And the U.S. has not won a team medal since Tim and his teammates took the gold in Los Angeles in 1984, and they haven't won a team medal in a non-boycotted Olympics since 1932.
But, you know, I really think this is a team that can get it done. They have the exact mix of the veterans like Wilson and Roethlisberger and the youth of the Hahn brothers.
Yeah, and it's hard to believe watching Morgan here in his first event at the Olympic Games. He is handling it like a veteran.
Big dismount here.
Yeah, that's a great exercise for Morgan. He is really going to feel relieved having the first one under his belt.
It's absolutely amazing, though, how unaffected both Morgan and his brother Paul have been this entire week in preparation. It's the Olympic Games. It's like nobody's told them. It's remarkable how calm they are.
What did Blaine Wilson tell us earlier in the week? I'm not worried about those little guys.
And, you know, all in training before these Olympic Games, complaints galore about the floor exercise. Too hard, too punishing on their bodies for all of the athletes, both men and women. Really beats the people up.
But Morgan Hahn in his first event records a 9.612. And now his twin brother Paul. Morgan's actually 30 minutes older. 17 now, 18-year-old during the Olympics. They'll be seniors at Waukesha South High School in Wisconsin when they return from Sydney.
And you thought Morgan was great on floor exercise. Watch out for Paul. He could actually be an event finalist.
Out.
Gigantic start, and if nerves are going to come out, it's right here, this pass. Little bit choppy on that, but deals with it well.
You mentioned something earlier. Is it perhaps an advantage that they don't really realize what they're in the middle of?
Yeah, it almost seems like that. Been talking with their coach Stacy Maloney on this road to their Olympic dream. And the amazing thing is, beyond both Paul and Morgan, Stacy seems a little bit unaffected as well. He's never gotten there as a coach.
Stacy said one of the things that amazed him about the brothers when he first took on this coaching position was their ability to take corrections and to actually apply them.
Carbon copy dismount we saw from his brother. Double layout.
Oh, out of bounds. That'll cost him 1/10.
Cost him a 10th for stepping out of bounds, but also that step back will cost him another 2 as well. I tell you, though, at this Olympic level, 10ths of a point, they matter a whole heck of a lot. Put some big-time pressure on the veteran, Blaine Wilson.
And Blaine, the U.S. champion, will be up next when we return to the first day of men's gymnastics.
I like to be an individual. You know, I like tattoos. I like to be different and tell you exactly how I feel. What you see is what you get with me, and that's it. Here I am. I actually like the attention. It's not gonna last forever. I mean, in 4 years from now, people are like, Blaine Wilson, who's that? There's a point where you're just like, why am I doing this? You know, continually bashing myself every single day. The first thing that we're gonna do is win a medal as a team, and that's why I'm there. All the individual stuff comes after that. Well, everybody seems to want me to be a team leader. And I really don't like to voice my opinion. I just like to compete, period. You could either be a hero or you could be a chump. I mean, that's what it's going to come down to. That's just the way it goes.
The free-spirited Blaine Wilson hasn't been a chump often. 5-time U.S. champion from Columbus, Ohio. In his second Olympics, he was 5th in the all-around in Atlanta. And the youngster Paul Hamm with 9.475. So as you said, the pressure on Blaine Wilson to deliver in his floor exercise.
So, Tom, here is the deal. Blaine Wilson has got to be the ignition to that spark for Team USA. There's already been some slight bobbles, nothing too serious, but this is the kind of a routine he can go out there and he can knock the heck out of this one and put Team USA on track to advance to that next round.
Oh, out of bounds.
Slight step back. That'll cost him a 10th for going out of bounds. Another tricky pass right here. Oh, bad news right there. That is not good. He pulls out halfway through that element.
Yeah,
cost him 4/10 of a point in bonus, and plus he gets some form deductions on top of it.
Totally uncharacteristic for Blaine, especially in pressure situations. He's not like that.
Remember, in men's Olympic gymnastics, 6 events actually going on at one time. So if you hear applause at an inappropriate moment, it's for one of the other events.
Blaine has a full twisting double somersault dismount, and it doesn't matter. He can stick this thing cold. He's still going to be at least 5/10 shy of what he could have earned for this USA team.
Gave away another 10th right there.
Wow, disappointing start for Blaine Wilson.
Bad thing when your very best guy doesn't take a big swing and connect on that first routine.
And how will it affect the psyche of the younger guys, too? You have to wonder about that.
Well, that's exactly right, because he, as Elfie mentioned, he is the guy that is always, he's so tough, so competitive. First tumbling pass, no problem at all. Actually does this great, just a little bit long and steps back there. The second pass is where he runs into some problems.
Oh, look at that. 9.025, and you see the disgust by Blaine Wilson.
Yeah, he actually is capable of somewhere in the 9.7 range, so that hurts a whole heck of a lot.
Well, we mentioned several events going on simultaneously while Blaine Wilson was on the floor. Nikolai Krukov of Russia on the parallel bars, the '99 world all-around champion.
And right there, that is just disastrous. Very difficult, very different element. Just doesn't get good grasp of the bars.
So two of the world's best gymnasts off to rocky starts at the Olympics. And here's a young man, 23-year-old Naoya Sukahara of Japan, who's created a lot of talk. He may be a successor to some of the world's best. He certainly has the pedigree. His father, Mitsuo, won 9 medals, 5 golds at the Olympics. His vault.
Well, an excellent start from Sukahara here. As you mentioned, not just his dad, excellent lineage, but also his coach, Nikolai Andrianov. 15 Olympic medals together. This guy has 24 Olympic medals behind him. And don't forget, gymnastics, it is a sport that is judged. Half of these judges, at least out on the floor, idolize either his dad or his coach. Reputation matters. Things like that count in gymnastics. That does not hurt.
So the Japanese team, a contender behind Sukahara, who records a 9.612 on his vault. And now the man who won 6 medals in Atlanta, more than any other athlete in any sport at those games, Alexei Nemov of Russia.
And actually, he could earn another 6, maybe even 7 at these games. He is so good, in such tremendous shape. His coach right there, Leonid Arkayev, says he's never seen Nemov prepared so early. He said he is the soul. He is the leader, the absolute leader of this Russian team.
And he is a new dad, too. His wife, Galina, gave birth to a son, also named Alexei, September 2nd. And Alexei has not yet seen his son. Said he'd like to take him home a golden rattle.
Yeah, well, he could very well take him home a few other things made out of gold. Parallel bars, not actually one of his very best events. He's a big guy, and some of these big elements right there, very, very pounding on the body.
But one thing that you will notice from Alexei throughout all his routines is the form, the beauty of his gymnastics, pointed toes, straight legs, and perfect stuck landings.
Well, if you wanted to choreograph your start in the Olympic Games, it would look exactly like Alexei Nemov's parallel bar routine right there.
Qualification round continues in men's gymnastics. Alexei Nemov 9.675 on his first routine, the parallel bars. And it's hard to gauge at this point, but if you took a look at all the nations that have competed so far, a rocky start for the U.S. and Russia, who are tied for 6th.
And to make things worse for Team USA, just a few moments ago on the pommel horse here, John Roethlisberger warming up, steps into the middle, clips his finger, dislocates it, goes over to the side to the trainer, and he literally has to grab it, pop it back into joint right there. Of course, he's going to be in a lot of pain, no question about that, but how is it going to impact his performance on the pommel horse? And then the hanging events, still rings, parallel bars, and high bar to come. Bad news for this Team USA.
Looked like he was giving it a go there, and it seems determined to continue. But with the veteran 30-year-old Roethlisberger hurting, more pressure on the youngsters, the Ham twins. And you know, when you're young with a lot of energy but no equipment, you improvise.
Growing up here was great. We had so much freedom. The barn was our place to have fun. We'd climb up these rafters here. There used to be a rope hanging down to the ground. We'd swing from one rafter to the other. We were crazy little kids. We had lots of fun in here.
He's Paul.
Where are you? Where's Morgan?
And he's Morgan.
Well, we're very proud to have 1/3 of the team and coming from us.
Paul Ham, Morgan Ham.
The twins are going together.
The boys thought they could do it. And I remember Sandy and I walked away and we went upstairs and we kind of looked at each other and we went, nah.
Is he upstairs? think I'm set, actually. I'm ready.
We thought in 4 years from now, but having them make it as 17-year-olds is just amazing. Here's your ticket.
Oh, thanks.
4.5 hours apart, Morgan's a little bit older, Paul's a little bit calmer. By age 11, they were in the gym 5 days a week.
Keep tight, don't like not bend your legs in your routine. That's breaking form.
Family was most important, so the boys never went away to train. Their dad just built a gym in the attic and brought in great coaches, like 6-time Olympic gold medalist Vitaly Sherbo.
I'm not doing anything with gymnastics. I'm trying to raise young kids that grow up and be healthy and happy. And so we were not going to do anything to disrupt the family.
You can't really ask anything more of a father than what he's done for us. I mean, it's pretty remarkable how much he's done and how far we've gone.
Okay, you guys, let's go.
All right.
You ready?
Yeah.
You only get to have your children once, and there's no second chances, and we didn't want to give that away.
And are those great All-American faces or what? The twins very close. Their dad, Sandy, was an All-American diver. Their older sister, Betsy, a gymnast at Iowa State, so it runs in the family.
And remember, with the injury, the dislocated finger to Roethlisberger puts even more pressure on these young athletes in the biggest meet, probably the biggest moment of their entire lives. One of the things they do so well, both of these Hahn brothers on horses, they keep an excellent rhythm throughout the exercise. Dismount here. Yeah. Never have I seen him do any better than that.
So Paul Hamm, after a shaky start on floor exercise, finds something deep within himself. And here's a youngster, 17 years old, that is stepping up to assume some leadership, it appears.
And you heard what he said in the feature when he was such a young athlete. He recognized the fact that it is so important to have perfect form, especially at the big-time event, the Olympic Games, and it paid off here.
Tremendous extension of the body. Beautiful form, as Elfie said. This should be 9.6 plus.
Paul Hamm only 9.562.
Wow, that's no good. Too low.
Now Steve McCain, and the Olympics have been a long time coming for him. A fall on the high bar cost him a spot on the 96 Olympic team. He was so upset he traveled to South Africa, spent 6 weeks there, ignored the Atlanta Games, and has had a lot of chances to give up the sport, stuck with it. When he walked into the Superdome on Wednesday for podium training, he said he almost cried. It was just so Olympic and so overwhelming to him.
Yeah, this is a great moment for Steve. You know, he had a scary moment back in San Diego before even getting to Sydney. He actually crunched both his ankles, and they have been questionable, but he is ready for the competition.
And he said with all he'd been through on Wednesday, when he gave them the test to see if they could stand up, that nothing was going to keep him away. And
you know, he was almost at the end of his routine through all the really difficult stuff. Sometimes you get a little bit ahead of yourself. You say, oh, I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it. Got all the hard stuff done. You lose some focus, concentration, and that's what happens. You fall off the horse. 0.5 of a point, mandatory deduction. Basically, all he can do at this point is finish his exercise. But this is going to be a routine that they are going to hope to throw out as the low score.
But if McCain's score is the low score that's thrown out, that means you have to depend on the score of John Roethlisberger. And we saw him dislocate his finger. Take it up now, and he'll be on the pommel horse when we return to Sydney. That finger, the right index finger of John Roethlisberger, very much on the mind of the U.S. team at the moment. He dislocated it earlier while warming up for the pommel horse. The trainer popped it back into place. It's taped up now, and he's ready to go. Some concern from his wife, Kelly, and his mom, Fran. And after Steve McCain had a poor routine, 8.85, Roethlisberger has to deliver, bad finger and all.
Well, they'll drop that 8.85. Hopefully, if he can come through under pressure right here, struggled on a couple of moves through training all week long. The skill where he hurt his finger is the exact skill he's had problems on. Comes up right after this travel, right here. No problem there.
Roethlisberger felt some guilt from Atlanta when he fell off the pommel horse. He thought he had let the team down. That motivated him to come back and try to make his third Olympic team, and here he is.
And Tom, that is the reason why he is back. He wants to be on the podium with his teammates to win a team medal.
John Roethlisberger, putting aside the pain of that finger and memories of Atlanta, comes through big time when the U.S. really needed him. And Russia would hope for a similar result. Alexei Nemov at the high bar.
But they have struggled as well. Pogorny, their first gymnast up, misses the bar. And I tell you what the Russians do so well is they take huge risks. They let go of the bar. They fly high. But, folks, the most important thing about a release skill is not letting go. It's grabbing back on. That right there, 0.5 of a deduction, 9.162. More pressure and very, very nasty eyes from that man, Leonid Arkayev, the architect of Soviet and Russian gymnastics.
And now Nemov, the silver medalist in the all-around in Atlanta.
Nemov actually has 4 release skills planned in this routine, and as you heard Tim say, every time you let go of that bar, you got to catch it again. These are big-time skills.
Giant coming up right here. Wow. One more time does him so pretty as well.
And he's not done yet. One last skill.
Gigantic routine from Nemov on the high bar. Brings a smile to Arkayev's face. Puts a little bit of momentum back in this Russian team. A lot of things going on in the first day of gymnastics. Obviously, team very important, qualify to the final round. But this guy, he could win the most medals of any athlete at the games. He's got to do that today as well. He qualifies for every individual event final today. So if he's not perfect, like that laid out Kovacs right there, he doesn't get to go to the finals, doesn't get to win that Olympic medal.
9.787 should put him in the high bar final. And John Roethlisberger still flexing that finger, but he delivered on his pommel horse routine when the U.S. desperately needed it. Roethlisberger's score 9.60. Remember, there are 12 countries competing in 3 sessions in this qualifying round, so difficult to gauge scores until the competition is complete. But here's a look after 2 rotations. Russia has moved up to take the lead. The U.S. up 1 notch into 5th place. 3rd rotation coming up, and the Ham twins look to continue to assume a leadership role as the youngest members of the U.S. team. The top 6 and make it to the final. A key member is John Roethlisberger, who earlier dislocated his right index finger and still must perform on the rings. Finger is a big cause of concern, but one of the teams on the bubble right now is Japan. And here's Kenichi Fujita on high bar.
Yeah, the Japanese team actually had a really rough go on the parallel bars, and they're currently sitting in 6th place.
And Elfie, I didn't think that they would struggle at all on P-bars. Always been a great event for the Japanese team. I had them picked to certainly battle for the bronze. And if a team like China or Russia opened the door, they would be right there. You're going to see exactly why I felt that way with this high bar routine. Amazing difficulty.
Introducing to full exercise, Alexei Bondarenko.
Big release right here in combination. Beautifully done. The thing that's so nice about this exercise, it's got a lot of variety. Like that. That's just not fair. He makes it look too easy. Great routine, but huge step on that landing. Gonna hurt the score.
His teammate Sukahara will be up next. And Fujita disappointed. Everything went well till he tried to stick the landing.
Beautiful releases and a variety right here. Kovacs way in the air. Got all the way through the exercise till the end. Dismount. Sometimes you try to stick a little bit too hard. But look at this bounding step forward. Gymnastics 101, you got to show control. None there. Stick that landing. You're looking at 9-8 maybe even.
But he had 9-5-8-7. So disappointing landing for Fujita costs him dearly. Now Roethlisberger on rings. How will that finger hamper him in this routine?
Well, this is his first really big test on the pommel horse. You're really not holding on with your hands. The one thing John has going for him when he jumps up to the rings, you'll notice he's got a big piece of leather. It's called a grip strapped on his hand, and a device called a dowel that actually enables him to hold onto the rings without squeezing as much with his fingers. But it's got to hurt. Improved quite a bit in the strength area. Coming up right here, though, his first big test on the swing elements.
Ouch.
And that's where he would feel it the most. No problem there. Here's the dismount. Whoa.
That's typical John Roethlisberger at his best. He digs down a little deeper, gets fired up for this routine.
John and the U.S. team scrapping to make the top 6 and make the final. And the Japanese team in the same situation and looking for a big performance from Naoya Sukahara at the high bar. He's the Japanese leader.
And we saw a big exercise from Kenichi Fujita just a few moments ago. Did the big gymnastics, but you got to do it perfect. We also see huge gymnastics right off the bat. In this exercise, he'll do a full twisting Kovacs. Struggled on this in training. Right here.
And he does it again.
Whoa, that was better. Very patient gymnast. Sometimes when things don't go exactly as planned, people overreact. Very calm. Another great exercise. Small step on the landing, going to cost him a little bit, but that was pretty darn good.
It's the job of a team leader and a great athlete like Sukahara. He gets this team back on track.
John Roethlisberger with his rings routine drew a score of 9-6-2-5. 12 teams competing. 6 of them will move on to the finals and compete for the medals. And still China and Romania, 2 powers yet to compete in a later session. The U.S. has worked itself out of a deep hole early, but they need to keep their momentum. Now's not the time to slack off because 3 rotations remain and the top 6 only will move ahead to the finals.
More gymnastics from the Sydney Superdome and from the
Russia is changing, but in men's gymnastics, Round Lake remains the joint, the center of gravity in the sport. It was so in preparation for the '96 games, when Alexei Nemov was the leader for the team representing the pride of decades of Russian achievement. With the team title on the line, Nemov stuck it to everyone else. Russia won the gold. Then, with his left shoulder aching, Nemov dueled with China's Li Xiaoshuang for the all-around gold. The difference was less than half a point. Nemov settled for silver, and it didn't settle well. In 2000, it's a new Alexei Nemov, transforming into husband and father. But in the gym, injuries have begun to erode his riveting smoothness. Shoulder surgery, separated vertebra, bruised confidence. In this year's European Championship, 5th place.
He had some big disappointments and all kinds of unpleasant things. Now, I tell you, he's seriously preparing.
Like most everything else, Atlanta wasn't perfect. But 6 medals is a good memory that Nemov has brought to Sydney.
You can never be 100% sure, but I want it very much. You see the picture on the wall there? I want it to happen again, like at the last Olympics.
Now Nemov trying to recapture the magic of Atlanta here in Sydney.
Tom, we've talked about him arriving in great condition for this competition. Tim also said he has opportunities for gold medals, as many as 6. This is an apparatus where he could medal in the event finals. He's world champion.
Top 8 finishers in this qualifying round on each apparatus qualify for the final.
Absolutely beautiful execution. Sometimes you watch this guy and you just strain your eyes to find a deduction somewhere. If you found one thus far, I'd say you're crazy.
Well, it appears that Alexei Nemov came to Sydney primed for gold. He looks ready.
Yeah, this gymnast, Tom, not only has grace out on the floor exercise, but he's got the big-time skills.
And maybe most importantly, he looks, as the young Ham brothers, totally unaffected, completely in his game mentally.
Here's a look now at Alexander Barish of the Ukraine, this year's European all-around champion.
Yeah, everybody was really talking about this athlete when he won the European Championships. They were talking about him as a contender for the all-around title in Sydney.
And of course, the Ukrainian team also trying to make the top 6 and move to the team finals.
His coach, Igor Korobchinsky, knows what it's like to be a champion. 1989 all-around world champion, but at the big meets has always sat on the sidelines in the judge's chair. Recently, Barish asked him, hey, you know, this is the Olympic Games. I need you out on the floor. Nice routine from Barish to hop on the landing, but going to keep him in the race and help Ukraine along as well.
Now Alexei Nemov's score on that floor exercise, it's the highest of the meet so far, 9.8 for Nemov, who sets the standard here in Sydney with his performance in the qualifying round. Barish on parallel bars draws a score of 9.65. So 3 rotations complete, and Russia has assumed command. The U.S. in 5th place, but still difficult to gauge the scores until the competition is complete.
Come on! Keep the emotions at a steady level. Come on!
30-year-old John Roethlisberger trying to fire up his team for the final 3 rotations.
Come on now.
3 rotations to go in the qualifying round of men's gymnastics, and the U.S. with some work to do to make the top 6 and advance to the final. But a young man emerging as one of the leaders on this team unexpectedly is Paul Ham, 17 years old.
Tom, he has a really big-time vault planned. He takes a lot of risk, and we've got to remember, in the men's competition, you only get 1 chance at it.
Handspring 2.5 front. Wow.
That appeared to be a perfect vault from Paul Hamm.
Wow. Relatively new vault from this young man.
Looks like he's been doing it for years.
I can guarantee you that is the best he has ever done that practice competition ever.
Nothing feels better than nailing the landing on a blind landing.
You talk about rising to the occasion. You could see as he came down the runway a look of confidence on his face. It carried through all the way to a perfect landing.
Where he slams those feet onto the ground, lifts those arms over his head, and it is party time.
His coach, Peter Corman, can hardly believe his eyes. He's ecstatic, and his mom, Cecily, who expected to be going to the Olympics in 2004, can't believe it either. Peter still all smiles, so Steve McCain, and why not? Paul Hamm with a 9.7 on vault. Meanwhile, the Japanese still trying to make that top 6. One of the favorite teams coming in. And while Hamm was vaulting, this is Yoshiro Saito stepping out of bounds.
And although it wasn't a fall, we've talked about those very important steps. 1/10, that adds up.
Now the Texan Sean Townsend in his first Olympic Games.
And you know, the USA team on vaulting is a little bit like the Russians. They take a lot of chances, take a lot of risks. When you do that, you can bring in the big points like we just saw from Paul Hamm, but you can also spell disaster as well. Another big vault right here. Oh. Wow.
Confidence is contagious, isn't it? Sean Townsend follows Paul Hamm with an excellent vault.
And these guys are making this look way too easy. This is 3 times around, 3 flips, and somehow you got to find that ground, put your feet, and try not to move. And that is 2 vaults in a row that are world-class material.
Don has really been consistent throughout the year on this vault. What makes it so great is the height, but the only place the judges could take some deductions are right there, the cowboy legs, the separation, and the slight step on the landing.
Sean awaiting his score, and it is a 9.65.
Good score for Sean. Actually, believe it or not, this guy right here, same vault we've seen from both Hamm and from Townsend. He can do it even better.
We've expected some big scores from Blaine Wilson today and haven't seen them so far. Now would be the time when he could really give his team some momentum.
Critical thing, obviously, got to get the speed down the runway. But the block, that's where your hands touch the horse, rebound off, get up in the air, and then put your feet down. That's it.
That is going to get a big score.
Well, the young ones have been doing the job all day long. Finally, the veteran rises to the occasion. That is going to help Team USA. I don't believe we'll see another team with as great a vaulting run as the USA just displayed right there. He gets tremendous jump off this horse, way up in the air. But this is the capper right there. Put your feet down. Don't move. They call that a stick in gymnastics, and sticking, that's good. Just ask Coach Peter Corman.
So the U.S., which started so poorly, now has had a tremendous run at the vault. That's Blaine's sister, Amy, celebrating a tremendous vault by Blaine Wilson. And the U.S. suddenly seems to have tremendous confidence and momentum, and that won't hurt. Blaine Wilson with the highest score on vault yet, 9.8. And just before Blaine vaulted, Naoya Sukahara of Japan on floor exercise.
And Tom, the mistakes were contagious for this Japanese team right there. That's 5/10.
So the Japanese in jeopardy of not making the top 6. Low score for Sukahara, 9.162. One team that has been performing consistently well and is just behind the Russians is Ukraine. And here's Alexander Barish on high bar.
It's amazing how the gymnastics landscape can change so quickly. Just last year at the World Championships, this team, Ukraine, ended up 7th, didn't even make it to the final round. Now they're knocking on the door of the Russians for the lead. And it should only get better because he is one of the world's best. Watch this right here. Incredible, beautiful release skill. Maybe keeps the best form in the entire competition on these very, very difficult elements. This is also one of those routines where it's more than just about the team. Got to make the finals to win an Olympic gold medal. You do it like that.
He held on to that landing.
Well, that should definitely be enough. This guy, world class on high bar, could be the gold medalist on this event, battle with the likes of Alexei Nemov.
And you know, we see these skills so often in the competition, but not like that. What makes it so impressive is his form, keeping his legs together.
And his score, 9-7-8-7. So Ukraine continues to put up consistently high marks, and they are putting the pressure on the Russians. In fact, after 4 rotations of the teams that have competed so far, Ukraine has taken the lead. Russia back into 2nd. And look at the U.S. The United States has now taken 3rd. Remember, though, powerful China and others are still to compete. But the U.S. right back in it with 2 rotations to go.
With the top 6 teams out of a total of 12 to make the final. Another session to follow, including China and others. But in this session, Ukraine, Russia, and the U.S. 1, 2, 3. Blaine Wilson was expected to lead the U.S. into contention, but he has had an inconsistent competition so far. John Roethlisberger dislocated his finger earlier. He'll sit out the parallel bars, replaced by Morgan Hamm. One of the stories, the 17-year-old Hamm twins, Morgan and Paul, have taken over leadership of this U.S. team and have been very consistent. Now Blaine Wilson on parallel bars.
And if you're looking for a place where Blaine can be consistent, it's definitely parallel bars. After vaulting, tremendous surge from the entire USA team. This is a great event for Blaine.
Representing Ukraine.
Biggest combination coming up right here in combination. Giant double back. Oh my. He misses his hand. He kind of fumbles the bar. Takes an intermediate swing. Cost him a few tenths of a point in total there. And a step on the landing. Got to tell you, though, I have watched Blaine at the trials, at the championships of the USA. I never thought he looked more ready for a competition. Looks like he's just got some kinks he's got to work out. This is not the performance that he wanted or that Team USA was depending upon from him.
Shocking, really, because consistency is one of his trademarks, that and his competitive nature.
Quite surprising, actually, Tom, after seeing a vault like Blaine just performed, you would just think that that momentum would carry over to his next event. One of the apparatus that he could have possibly made event finals on, but you can see no way after doing this skill. Double back flip, just can't hang on.
And it's been an agonizing day for his sister Amy, who can barely watch in tears seeing Blaine foul up another routine. Not happy and awaiting his score, and that won't improve his disposition. 9-3-1-2 for Blaine Wilson. So the youngster, Morgan Hamm, has to pick up the slack once again. And the twins, 17 years old, have been up to the task so far.
And don't count him out of it, that's for sure. But remember, Peter Foreman, head coach, decided he was the weakest member of the team. That's why he wasn't scheduled to compete. He's going in the last spot. This is not one of Morgan's best exercises. Right off the bat, there's an element that he really struggles on. It's the second skill that he'll do. Comes up right after this. Got to keep those legs off the bars. Not bad. And you know, this guy, he probably didn't even warm this event up prior to the competition.
That's amazing.
Don't be misled by that baby face. This guy's pretty tough. Called out of the bullpen, so to speak, to replace John Roethlisberger, who was injured. And Peter Corman, who made that decision, sees it pay off. So Blaine Wilson had the low score, but Ham's score will knock Wilson's out and put the U.S. a step closer to the finals. So as we head to the final rotation, the United States, despite the slow start, and with their leader Blaine Wilson being something less than brilliant, Tim, find themselves in a great position.
Well, it was amazing. On vaulting, it's where it all turned around for Team USA. 3 guys doing a handspring double front, 2 just knocking the heck out of it, galvanized the team. 6 teams make it into the team final. They were one of them that was maybe going to be on the bubble. They find themselves in contention for the bronze at this point.
Elfie, we can't forget, though, 2 powers yet to come.
Absolutely. China, you know that they're a lock for this top 6. They're looking for their first ever Olympic gold medal. And then there's Romania. They could very well challenge the U.S. for that bronze medal spot.
But so far, the U.S. looking surprisingly good. After 5 rotations, the U.S. in 3rd place behind Russia and Ukraine. One of the reasons they are lofty in the standings, the Ham twins. They'll be high school seniors in Waukesha, Wisconsin when they return from Sydney, but they may have a lot to talk about with their classmates. They have been spectacular. Here's Paul on high bar.
His biggest test comes right here, release skill. Way in the air, beautifully done.
One more release skill planned right here.
Sounding a little bit like a broken record today when we're talking about these guys, but I am so amazed how unaffected they are by this whole Olympic pressure cauldron. Wow.
You might think they were back in the family barn swinging from the rafters. They just seem to be going about their business without a care in the world. No worries, as they say in Australia.
Their coach, Stacy Maloney, said they have mental sharpness, and they were on in this competition. Very difficult, but he knows the art of sticking. You'll get a big score.
And Paul's score is 9-6-1-2. The Russian team started out slowly, as did the Americans, but rapidly gained command. And here's Alexei Bondarenko, who was the silver medalist in the all-around at the '97 World Championships and expected to be one of the mainstays of the Russian team if they can repeat as Olympic team gold medalists.
Same vault that we saw from Wilson, Townsend, and from Ham. That handspring, 2.5 fronter, 3 flips around. Very, very difficult. This kid, one of the biggest talents in the world, has not been as competitive in the mental game. Oh, man. Wow. You just don't see this. Landings so incredibly well on this vault. It is so hard to do that.
Bondarenko, who looked so good in podium training on Wednesday, delivering and expecting a big score on that vault. Now here's Sean Townsend. His teammates call him Buddy Lee. They think he resembles the character in the commercial.
They also say nothing phases this guy. And that's a very good quality because he's got 2 major releases to get through on this routine. And more than just that, what makes it so critical in this exercise is he does both of them in combination, doesn't have time to set up for them. This one comes right here. Got that one. do this from a skill before it. Much more difficult. Not for Sean. Wow, kind of slung that dismount out there a little bit, but found the ground. He did a great job today. You know, he's been battling with some sickness, struggled through the Olympic trials. Not feeling well, got on the plane, long trip over to Australia, had a little bit of a relapse.
Bondarenko 9.75 on that vault. Big score as expected. And Townsend 9.712. The U.S. really has gathered momentum, started slowly, and despite the fact that this man, Blaine Wilson, has had an inconsistent night, had the great vault, but not much else. And is he starting to press by now?
Well, I got to tell you, there would be a lot of people I would be very concerned about if they came out in the Olympic Games and struggled like Blaine has. But he's the kind of guy that just gets more and more mad. And that translates into a better performance typically for Blaine Wilson.
And Tim, Sean has really set him up beautifully. This score could be much bigger than Sean's 9.712.
A lot of intricate pirouetting elements. Just one arm coming up here in combination.
Representing Germany.
One more release right here, also in combination. Well, another hop for Blaine Wilson, and frankly, a disappointing day for him. On the individual side, I'm sure he thought he'd make a few different individual event finals. That's not going to happen. He will make vault. We'll also see him in the individual all-around competition and, of course, with the team, but really not what Blaine is capable of doing, no question. We saw flashes of brilliance on vaulting today from Blaine Wilson, but this has kind of been what the day has been all about, a dismount, and he can stick this one cold, but he lands a significant hop forward. You see the balance there. That can mean the whole ball game at the Olympic Games.
Blaine's sister Amy is agonized over every routine today and probably relieved that it's finally over and Blaine can look forward to a better day on Monday. His score on the high bar routine, 9.65. So the overall standings after session 2, with a session yet to go: Russia, Ukraine, and United States. The U.S. looking good to make it to the final with one session to go.
Hey, guys, come in. Guys, come on, man. Come here. Hey, that was the best team effort I've ever seen. From how you started, 2 words: team and test. That was no big a test. He broke his finger. This guy had a rougher time than he's ever had, and he's been the backbone of everything we've ever done in the last 5 years. You guys all get tested in the last 2 weeks, but everybody got tested today. Nothing's going to happen to us in team finals that'll leave me close to it. Hey, come on, guys.
We'll see one of the favorites, China, when we return to Sydney. A revolution.
In this country, there is a lot of pressure. Only the gold medal is recognized. We must carry this burden.
The head coach was fired, and assistant Wong Yu-bin took over, hardening an already intense program. Sydney would be his one chance, their one chance.
Foreigners don't understand our philosophy. They think we're too strict. But the way we see it, we're living and training as if we're in the army.
So tonight, China's teenage army marches onto the world stage with but one objective. It's the People's Republic of China. Memories of past failures must be erased, and their success to serve as inspiration for generations to come. This is the vow of the Chinese men.
Like newborn calves, we're not afraid of tigers. We won't hold back. We will not repeat their mistakes.
So here they are finally at the Olympics, Li Xiaopeng and Xing Aowei at the very place the Chinese failed in Atlanta, the high bar.
And Tom, what the Chinese have done in their relentless pursuit of an Olympic team gold medal is pick their spots a little bit better. Don't take the big risks on high bar, on the major release skills. Do a Tkachev like that, a little easier to grab the bar. They're so dominant in so many other areas. Just get through this one. Focus on the things they have more control over. Don't always do the risky thing. Show off their bodies. The elegance, the artistry of the sport of gymnastics. And fix the sticking.
So a huge psychological barrier passed. The high bar went smoothly for China.
I feel free.
After 4 rotations, China edges Russia out of the lead. But Team China demonstrates how remarkable and fragile they can be. On vault, the teenage army looks like they cannot be great when it matters. Risky vaults and big mistakes. Their final rotation on the parallel bars, 19-year-old Li Xiaopeng has another chance to prove he deserved the spot on this Olympic team.
And don't ever forget one thing, that the Chinese are some of the greatest gymnasts that have ever lived in the history of the sport. Their physicalness, their ability to do incredibly difficult exercises. They have the goods to get it done. They just can't let their head get in the way.
And so the Chinese finish in second place in the qualifying round behind Russia. The U.S. men's team arrived in Sydney with an air of uncertainty, a curious mixture of youth and experience. And early on, they seemed to prove their doubters right. Team USA opened on floor exercise with disastrous results. The team needed a spark and got it in the 4th rotation on vault. Paul Hamm started it. then Sean Townsend. And finally, Blaine Wilson followed Ham's example. The U.S. was back in contention.
It's one thing to hit your routines in the Olympics. It's another thing to do routines better than you've ever done. I mean, when Paul did that vault, I almost lost it. I couldn't believe that was that good, because I've seen him do a lot of them, and none have been even close to that good. So it was unbelievable to have all those guys do it on the same afternoon. It was amazing.
A year ago, no one had heard of them. Now they were carrying the U.S. national team at the Olympics. The 17-year-old twins from Waukesha, Wisconsin, Paul and Morgan.
Hey guys, this isn't Blaine and John anymore. This is your team. Every one of you's got to put your heart into this, or it ain't going to happen.
Introducing to Blaine Wilson, representing the United States.
Five-time U.S. champion Blaine Wilson shockingly struggled through much of the competition.
Blaine's been the backbone of our team, and when Blaine makes a mistake, usually the other guys crumble. Today was the other way around a little bit. Blaine was rough, but the other guys stepped up. That's what we've needed to have happen for the last few years, but everyone's just been relying on Blaine. I think today they figured it out.
Russia, China, Ukraine finished 1, 2, 3. The U.S. in 4th place makes the final, but would have to step up to medal on Monday. However, after today's performance, nothing seems impossible.
So the greatest team effort of any team I've ever seen in a gymnastics meet. In 35 years and all the Olympics I've watched, I've never seen a team have their best guys start out so bad and have all those little babies step to the plate and hit home runs. It was unbelievable.
Give me some love.